Hello and welcome to the Gaia update for the full moon in Taurus, November 14th, 2016. I'm Adrienne Elise. I'm here because I'm passionate about helping empower the process of awakening, help people find that true authentic life, bringing forward their gifts to really live a deeply meaningful life. So I hope you can join me for this full moon activation that will happen on Sunday, November 13th at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and you can find out where to sign up for that below. So the full moon happens on Monday morning, early Monday morning, in Mountain Standard Time, 6:53 a.m. And this moon is really powerful culmination, but it's got some harmonizing forces too. Venus is really exalted because Taurus the moon being in Taurus is, that's where Venus is the ruler. Now Venus is moving into Capricorn here on the 12th. And so we're looking at the Capricorn is the authority and the structures of our life, and this is an opportunity to find where we can support the goddess in our lives. Now, when we're talking about the goddess energy and the divine feminine, we're not talking about females and males. We all have this within us. We're talking about our ability to value the invisible inside of ourselves, the ability to value our worth on another level, to find our true value in the world, in our love for ourselves, our compassion, our ability to be soft and see through all the hatred and anger of this world. Now, that's an interesting energy because the sun here is in Scorpio, and we're really feeling, because the Scorpio is an energy of passion, power, what is our true, what really matters to us. And then the full moon in Taurus is opposite that, giving us this energy of stop, slow down, love ourselves, compassion. How do we really ground out these energies of what really matters to us in our lives? How do we love ourselves enough to give space for this in our lives? Now, this is really potent energy because the sun is right next to Black Moon Lilith. Now, Black Moon Lilith is the apogee of the moon's orbit, meaning the furthest away that it is in its cycle. And it's right next to where the sun is there in Scorpio. And so Black Moon Lilith and Scorpio is about this disenfranchised feminine, the shadow side, the angry feminine, the part of the female, a nurturing that hasn't been able to be expressed in this world. The structures of this reality are patriarchal and not supporting the expression of compassion and vulnerability. And we can't move forward unless we do this. Now, this is powerful because we have Pluto in Capricorn, and so Venus is joining Pluto in Capricorn. They don't come into their conjunction until later in the month. That happens on the 25th, but we're already feeling Venus coming up against this, and it's activating this square that's happening all month long. We're feeling between Jupiter and Pluto. Now, Jupiter is our expansion planet. It's saying, hey, let's grow, let's expand, let's build into using the energies into bringing more and expanding. So what are we trying to expand into? Jupiter's in Libra, and Venus is also a ruler of Libra. So we're having a lot of this goddess energy activation. And so when we're expanding into our relationships, we are looking at these male and female archetypes. We are healing the disenfranchised feminine. We're finding love and compassion for the angry masculine. We are coming together within our own being to find wholeness. So Jupiter is really asking us to do this work, but it's squared right up against Pluto and Capricorn. Now, Pluto is in Capricorn. It's this generational change maker. It's the destroyer. It's the breaker down, and it's in the sign of our structures, this Capricorn. And so with Venus in there, we're really looking at how do we build, what do we need to break down, and how do we build a new world that can support a whole human being, the truth of the human being. And this element of compassion and vulnerability has really very little value in this patriarchal world. So this is not about men against women. Actually, it's the complete opposite. The last 2 years of astrology have been about ending this battle of the sexes and understanding that we can reclaim the positive aspects of both and come back into this harmonious marriage within. Now, in this place, hatred and the opposition and the enemy has no place. We're growing old of this. And the expression of this two-party system and all the drama around this election is a deeper expression of this illness that we've had for a very long time. And so it's coming to the surface, and that might feel really uncomfortable. Scorpio's a lot about going into that shadow and finding that yucky muck. And as a nation, we're looking at it right now, and we're having to face the dark secrets of our past. And so we're also having to do this within ourselves and dig deep within and go underneath our hatred and be able to find that love and compassion. Also being strong and have boundaries. Being loving and compassionate does not mean being a doormat. It means honoring that part of ourselves, the divine feminine within. So we've got Black Moon Lilith there right next to the sun. This represents the disenfranchised feminine, the angry feminine, the female that's been cast aside, unvalued, and feeling worthless and hopeless. And we need to go find that part of ourselves and reclaim her and bring her into this world. This takes the empaths, the sensitive people of this world, to stop making themselves wrong and bad and worthless and standing up for what's true and real. And this is what this time is really about. So don't get distracted by the stories of the news. Don't get distracted by the picture that this world is trying to create for us, because in truth, we're healing, we're loving, we're learning to forgive, and this is happening on a massive level, and we are not interested in having this enemy any longer. So take heart in the fact that this expression of the inner disease of this country and this world is in our innermost shadow is starting to reveal itself, because we cannot heal it or move forward until we can actually look at it. So the Scorpio energy is really powerful, but also really intense. But this full moon brings us a harmonizing moment in all of this, saying, hey, we're looking to build new structures that can support the feminine in this world, can support Mother Earth, can support loving, can support healing. It's time for us to move on from our war culture into our loving culture. And people are fed up, and it's happening. So don't lose heart about this, and use this full moon. I hope you can join me for the activation so that we can really tap into this Taurus energy, exalting the goddess. The moon in Taurus is also strong. This is also a supermoon, meaning it's closest to the earth than it's been since 1948. So the moon is pulling right here with us in Taurus, saying, hey, it's time to find compassion and love and build structures that can support this in our world. Then we've got the sun opposite in Scorpio, delving into the identity of our shadow and finding the truth of our passion, what we really care about. But right there next to Black Moon Lilith, it's bringing up these shadow aspects of the feminine, the part of ourselves that's saying, hey, wait a minute, this world is harsh. This world has not supported me. I don't feel valuable. I don't feel like I matter. I don't feel like I have a place to express my compassion and my love for the world. And this is the tension that's happening right now. And you know what? This revolution that's happening right now isn't something that we can find a leader to help us move through. We are each the leader in our own sovereign world, and we have to decide we're done with hatred and war. So if this election has made you feel hatred, then look at that hatred and find that and delve inside of that. The only hatred we can carry inside of ourselves is towards ourselves. We are all part of the whole. So I hope you can join me for the activation where we can come into this wholeness, the celebration of the one love vibration on planet Earth, and choosing that very deliberately as we move into our future, as we shed all these stories of war and hatred of our past. Now, speaking of our past, we've got Neptune in Pisces, the ruler of Pisces, representing this past age, and it's absolutely direct conjunction right now with the South Node. And the South Node is our past karma. It's supposed to be what we've learned. Now that means it's opposite the North Node. But what we're looking at is the illusions and delusions in our life, the not being able to see the truth. And that is keeping us from moving forward. And so we're feeling like we've got one foot in this old world of patriarchal and domination and pain and hatred, and we've got one foot in the new world of trying to love ourselves through this, trying to value the truth of who we really are. And the thing is about, we've had this place almost for the last 3-4 years with this Pluto-Uranus square, this big generational change that's trying to happen. But now we're feeling like, hey, okay, I'm kind of experimenting with one foot in the new and one foot in the old. But when we have one foot in each place, we're actually stuck. We can't move at all. And so this has been the feeling. And now it's time for this deeper inner truth to express itself. And so the Neptune conjuncting the node is actually bringing to light a lot of the Saturn square Neptune that we've had for the last year. And Saturn's reality planet, Neptune is our dreams and visions, but also delusions. And so it's like we are on the edge of, this is saying, hey, it's time to face the lies and delusions of our past. Now, what's that mean in our individual life? What does that mean in the collective? What does it mean for our country? And we're about to find that out. And sometimes it's kind of uncomfortable and can make you feel sick to your stomach, but the expression of it is actually the healing. Once it's showing itself, that means it's on the way to be resolved. And we've been hiding from the truth of who we really are as a collective in this country for far too long. And so, go ahead and use this time to anchor in those passions, the deep within, dark under the shadow. What you find is your gifts, and so what you really care about. And so Scorpio and Black Moon Lilith to say, hey, it's time for me to value myself. This world told me I wasn't worth anything unless I stacked up a bunch of degrees and dollars. And you know what? The truth of who I am, every single person is important in this tapestry. Every single person has a unique way of expressing their divine gifts. And so this is a huge, massive revaluing. And so even though it feels yucky right now, we have taken a massive step towards healing as we begin to face the shadow of our nation. So here we are with one foot in the past and one foot in the future, and all this Capricorn energy with Pluto being activated by Venus coming up. That happens later in the month. Now what also happens is Mercury comes up with Saturn. Now this is a huge deal. On the 25th, on the 16th, which is just 2 days after this full moon, Saturn returns to its pre-retrograde position. And now it went retrograde in March of this year. So this whole year has been flavored by the Saturn retrograde, Saturn and Mars going retrograde in Scorpio, chasing each other down, finally came together in a conjunction last month, and also then Mars triggered this Pluto-Uranus square. Venus is now triggering the Pluto-Uranus square, coming up to a conjunction with Pluto, and we're saying, revolutionary change, break this down. How do we find structures that can support the goddess in this world? Because this patriarchal reality is not supporting the truth of who we are, humanity. We've been fed a whole bunch of lies about ourselves and been manipulated into incredible violence. And it's all in a part of all of us. The shadow is in all of us. And so this revolution with that Uranus and Aries is with the individual deciding it's time to make that change, to choose love over hatred, to choose union over separation. And it's a deep revolutionary, evolutionary change that's happening under the fabric of our reality, and we have yet to see those manifestations on the outward world. This is the first step, this election, waking up to the truth of the subconscious expression, the expression of our subconscious disease. And so it's a really, really powerful time to get true with you, to love you, to move through those darker feelings of the people that have hurt you and try to come to forgiveness. And so this Taurus moon is going to help us really anchor in some self-love, some self-care, some building of structures that can support the goddess in our life, and kind of anchor in these new energies on the planet. So I hope you can join me for this activation as we begin to take these steps out of the old world and into the new. Finally, when we've been stuck for so long. And so I hope that you can make the most of this time by being honest with yourself and finding the love within you that has not been valued and validated, because that is the divine feminine that has been cast aside. So I'll see you on Sunday evening for the full moon activation. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll look for my other programs at adrienneelise.com, and we'll see you next time. Namaste.